Potatoes are another staple food that is frequently mishandled by refrigeration, and the negative consequences are both culinary and potentially health-related. While many people place potatoes in the fridge believing it will slow spoilage, cold storage fundamentally changes the internal chemistry of the potato in ways that degrade taste, texture, and cooking performance. Potatoes are tubers adapted to cool but not cold environments, and refrigerator temperatures trigger stress responses that are undesirable for both quality and safety. One of the most serious issues with refrigerating potatoes is cold-induced sweetening. At temperatures typically found in household refrigerators, potato starch begins to break down into simple sugars such as glucose and fructose. This conversion is not gradual or beneficial. It is a defensive reaction to cold stress. As a result, refrigerated potatoes develop an unnaturally sweet taste that clashes with their intended savory profile. This sweetness becomes especially noticeable after cooking, where roasted, fried, or baked potatoes can taste oddly sugary rather than earthy and balanced. Texture degradation is another major warning sign. As starch converts to sugar, the structural integrity of the potato flesh changes. Cooked potatoes that have been refrigerated beforehand are more likely to become gritty, grainy, or unevenly soft. Mashed potatoes may turn gluey or watery, fries may fail to crisp properly, and boiled potatoes may fall apart while still feeling chalky inside. This textural damage is largely irreversible. Returning potatoes to room temperature does not fully restore the original starch structure. There is also a significant safety concern when refrigerated potatoes are cooked at high temperatures. The increased sugar content caused by cold storage can lead to higher formation of acrylamide, a potentially harmful compound that forms when sugars react with amino acids during frying, baking, or roasting. Acrylamide has been linked in research to increased cancer risk at high levels, and while occasional exposure is unlikely to cause harm, unnecessarily increasing its formation through improper storage is a risk best avoided. This makes refrigeration particularly problematic for potatoes intended for frying, such as French fries or chips. From a flavor perspective, cold storage strips potatoes of their subtle complexity. The balance between starch, moisture, and mild bitterness is disrupted, resulting in cooked potatoes that taste flat, overly sweet, or strangely metallic. Even when heavily seasoned, the underlying flavor imbalance often remains noticeable. This leads to disappointment in home cooking and a tendency to overcompensate with salt, fat, or sugar, which can negatively affect overall dietary quality. Refrigeration also increases the likelihood of waste. Potatoes stored in the fridge may darken internally when cooked, develop unpleasant flavors, or fail to perform as expected in recipes. Consumers often interpret these changes as spoilage or poor quality and discard the potatoes, even though the problem originated with storage rather than freshness. In addition, cold, humid refrigerator environments can promote condensation on potato skins, increasing the risk of mold growth once the potatoes are brought back to warmer conditions. Digestive discomfort is another potential downside. Potatoes with altered starch structures may be harder for some people to digest, leading to bloating or gastrointestinal irritation, especially when eaten in large quantities or prepared in heavily processed forms like fries or chips. This is not a universal reaction, but it is an added reason to avoid unnecessary chemical changes caused by cold storage. The safest and highest quality way to store potatoes is in a cool, dark, well-ventilated place, ideally around 7 to 10 degrees Celsius, 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is significantly warmer than a refrigerator, but cooler than most kitchens. Storing potatoes in the fridge does not meaningfully extend their usable life and instead introduces multiple quality and safety concerns. The warning is clear. Refrigeration transforms potatoes in ways that undermine their taste, texture, nutritional value, and even the safety of high-temperature cooking. For a food as basic and versatile as potatoes, improper cold storage quietly turns a reliable staple into an inferior and potentially problematic ingredient.